Hello, everyone. My guest today will be making his Bellator debut on January 20th at Bellator 192 against Aaron Pico. He is the War Rhino, Mr. Shane Kruchten. Shane, welcome. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
So, how you doing today, sir? How was your Christmas?
Uh, Cutting weight for a second Christmas in a row. My fiance's beautiful family is starting to question if I ever actually eat Christmas dinner. But it was a good Christmas overall. My daughter got everything she wanted and then some. So that's all that matters in life.
Oh, there you go, man. That's beautiful. Awesome. That sounds like a good holiday then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, did you get some cool stuff too?
Hey man, I got a cordless DeWalt grinder. That's all I wanted, and I got it.
There you go. Adult toys, huh?
Yep.
There you go. Fantastic, man. So it's been a little while since your last fight. Any reason for the long layoff?
Two things. My former organization doesn't. They never had cards. I mean, it's well known in the world that they don't have cards that often, and unfortunately, with their sellout and changing names and ownership and whatnot, and the format of which they're basically throwing fights, they had to reformat. And it's all respect. And so I just decided to take some time off and get a couple injuries taken care of that I've been lagging for about 7, 8 years. Now I'm ready to go and, got a new home.
Absolutely. So do you enjoy the time off a little bit, or are you kind of itching to get back into the cage?
No, I never enjoy the time off. I stay productive. I'm always training. I'm always doing jujitsu competitions. In the last year, I've done 5 jujitsu competitions. So it's not like it's exactly time off, like most people think you get. I don't get that. I wish I got that, but it's literally I'm in the gym hitting it every day, anyways. Even with taking care of injuries, I'm still practicing with the Freak Brothers at 10th Planet. So I never really truly get time off. Although it's time off from the cage, I'm still in there getting beat up and beating people up every day.
Yeah, speaking of no time off, I can tell you're on the road right now. Kind of fitting me in. Are you on your way to the gym right now or something?
I'm on my way up to OC Fight Doc right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
got you.
so it's all good though. It's I got an hour drive one way, and hey, why not fit you in there and get my name out there.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, we're just a little over 3 weeks until you make your Bellator debut. Like we talked about, your last two fights were in the World Series of Fighting. How did you land this big opportunity with Bellator, fighting on the main card against the guy who's got a lot of hype surrounding him and who's one of Bellator's top up and comers?
100%. And first and foremost, up due respect to Aaron Pico. I got a lot of respect for the guy. I've known the kid. I've known about the kid for years in wrestling, and he's a stud. And then I basically I called the management over at World Series, and I said, hey, listen, I want to be in the tournament. They pronounced to me that I might not make the cut. There's it pretty stacked division right now, and I said, okay, that's fine. Do you mind if I go out and basically get released and go find employment elsewhere? Ray Sefo, being the great guy that he is, said no, absolutely not. Thank you for asking me like a man. And as a good businessman did, he said, you always have our support. Go kill him. And so I said, all right, good to go. I called my manager, let him know. My manager put the word out there, put the ear to the ground. Upgrade management. I just recently signed with them due to my good friend King Mo. I got with Upgrade Management, and man, the things that came out of the woodwork with them in a matter of, I think, 3.5 weeks after I signed with them, I got signed to Bellator. Like, it is nuts. So it's a huge opportunity. He called me. I told him, I didn't care what I had to do, who I had to fight. I said, I will literally fight any weight class from 145 to heavyweight. Just get me a fight. And he said, all right, I'll get you a fight. And he called me. I was at Home Depot with my daughter looking at Christmas decorations. And he asked me if I was ready for a Christmas present. And he goes, you want to be on a main card for Bellator? And I was all, yeah. He's like, you want to know what weight? I said, no, just sign the dotted line. And he goes, it's Aaron Pico at 145. I was like, sweet, let's go. So, I mean, it's not too many guys that, are willing to throw down at a moment's notice, especially short notice fights like that. But that's our gym's mentality. 10th Planet, as you guys know from Ali Malay McFarland, one of my teammates, Tony Ferguson, Kevin, we're not shy of short notice fights. We're quite accustomed to them. That if you always stay ready, you don't got to get ready kind of mentality, and that's the way we run. That's the way we run our gym.
Absolutely. So I know you were excited just to have the opportunity to be on that main card, but what did you think when you found out it was Aaron Pico at 145?
Uh, it's kind of crazy. I was looking to kind of steer away from the 145 division, just due to, after almost over a decade plus in this sport, losing weight
Mm.
is, it sucks. I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not, I'm not going to, but I've done it numerous times. It's just another day in the office for me. But at the same time, it kind of sucks because I was putting on so much mass to go up in weight class, and I was in there like 45, and I was like, who? And then they said Aaron Pico. I go, fine, I'm losing the weight. And
Right.
yeah, I got right back to it. I was speaking at the Marine Corps Ball as the guest of honor, and when I got that weekend, and I said, hey, Monday morning I'm hitting it. My coaches were like, all right, and I've proved to them up to this point that I meant it, and I'm here.
So we know that Aaron has a lot of hype surrounding him. Do you believe in that hype? Do you think it's warranted?
I mean, hype is hype. I have a lot of respect for him with his accolades in wrestling, with his accolades in boxing, with his accolades just as a person. I mean, as a human being, he's a great person. I mean, his own cousin wrote me on Instagram, and it's like, it's kind of crazy. So it's two really respectful people that are going to fight each other. I have no bad blood, no bad intention, no bad ill will against Aaron whatsoever. It's just two men that are going to do their job. The hype train, that people say, oh, he's got all this hype, And it's kind of funny because every media outlet out there, from MMA Junkie to Sherdog to MMA Fighting, everybody, it's funny. The only pictures they post of me are weighing in WSOF 9 and stuff like that. You're talking from 2012. I've fought since then, guys. I fought
Yeah.
at MSG. I've done, I'm a veteran of the sport, and to fight a veteran, I think Aaron, knows that he's not in for an easy cakewalk. Especially a veteran that's coming from another big organization. I'm not going to get the jitters of a new fighter. I think Aaron's hype is warranted with his accolades that he has achieved, with his wrestling prominence and in the Golden Gloves, and so I have nothing against it, and if that's what is in his cards to be played, as the hype train, that's his cards. That's not mine. It's never been mine. Mine's always about giving back. Hey, to each his own, and if that works out for him, good on him. But if it doesn't, hey, good on him as well, because at least he's running it as he can.
Right. Okay. So we know he has the wrestling accolades and obviously the good boxing,
Yep.
but you have the wealth of experience inside the cage and outside of the cage. Is that something you're looking to implement during the fight?
100%. He's got just over 4 minutes in the cage altogether. I fought 3 decision fights, one being a five-minute round fight. I've fought plenty of top-notch guys. One thing, Aaron hasn't fought. I fought at heavyweight. I fought at light heavyweight. I fought at 185. So it's crazy. Like, I've fought these big boys. I've fought Gerald Mershart. He's killing Killers Row right now in 185 in UFC. I fought Luke Zachrich, a former 205er UFC. I fought these big, monstrous dudes. And they couldn't put me. They basically, I got submitted by one and TKO'd by another. So if you look at my losses, yeah, I got 3 losses. Cool. Look who I lost to, and look at the
Right.
weight I fought at. It's not. So I'm not taking anything away. Anything can happen. And that's one thing. I've always been told by my coaches, anything can happen on fight night. I mean, look at Aaron's first fight. Anything can happen.
So for those who don't know your background, how did you get into MMA and why were you so heavy when you first started?
I was heavily addicted. I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps. Severe PTSD issues, survivor's guilt, and whatnot. I ended up, getting into the bottle and chasing, my escape at the bottom of a barrel, and also fast food. And I blew up to 262 pounds. A buddy of mine just called me and goes, "Hey, you want to go to a fight?" And I go, "What kind of fight?" And I'm thinking boxing. That's what I grew up with. And he's like, "MMA," and I was like, "What's that?" And at the time, Tito Ortiz was big. BJ Penn Chuck Liddell was just starting, kind of getting on the scene real big at the time. And I knew Tito's name, who's now a friend of mine, which is crazy to, think about that. And I knew these guys, and I was like, sure, I'll go to this fight. It was in the back of a bar in a square boxing ring. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And this guy walked up to me and he basically looked at me and goes, hey man, you want to fight? And I was like, what? And he goes, I'll give you a $500 bar tab. Get in there right now and fight. All right, cool. I got in there and I fought 3 5-minute rounds and I won. That was my first pro fight. I won at heavyweight as a decision, like unheard of, right? And then now look at me, fast forward over a decade and I'm a 145er.
That is wild. So what made the guy, the owner of the bar, come up to you and ask you if you wanted to fight?
They needed fighters. Back then, it was real underground, and especially being in Wisconsin, the Midwest was real underground kind of fight network. All these guys, nobody really, the sanctioned bodies weren't there. Guys would drive from the tri-state area. They would go from Wisconsin to Illinois over to Indiana in one night and fight 3 times.
Wow.
Try doing that these days. You're going to get barred from everything. So, and these guys are fighting 3 times in one night. So he just needed a body. He needed a heavyweight. There was a 42-year-old man that was an Army veteran that wanted to fight. And here's this 21-year-old kid. And I was like, let's go. Let's get it. And I went in there and got it. I had no experience. I didn't know what in the world I was doing. I didn't even know how to strike right. There's a picture of me online. It's kind of funny, but it looks like I'm almost biting the guy's hand as he's trying to push off on my chest.
So this has been a journey for you getting to this point.
Yeah, you can say that, and it's really funny because I got a lot of friends, that actually, they know my background, they know my history, and a lot of fans don't. So my fans start to realize my history, and my fans all go, wait, you were a heavyweight? And they think I just fought at heavyweight, but contrary, I was a true heavyweight. I've taken hits at heavyweight. I've taken hits at all these different weight classes. So, it's crazy. And Gerald Mershart, shoot. I fought him. He was underage. I fought him in Chicago, Illinois it was a kickboxing with takedowns fight. It wasn't even allowed to be called MMA. Wow. Because it was illegal in Illinois at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is it like for you to go from starting in sort of that underground circuit to being on the main card with some of the top names in the sport now, like Sonnen and Lima, McDonald, Rampage? What is that like for you?
I grew up watching some of these guys, and, I was a huge fan of Rampage back in the day, the Pride days and everything like that. Sonnen, coming up. I remember I met Rampage, and it's kind of crazy because I met him at his gym. Shucks. I think my daughter was just born. So you're talking 4.5 years ago.
Wow.
I met Jackson in there, and at the time I was with World Series, and we were talking, and he goes, someday, he goes, you're going to make it. Cause I kept telling him my aspirations to be in, a bigger show. I wanted to be in the show, not just a show that was big, that was on television. I wanted to and he told me, he goes, if you keep pushing and you keep going hard, you're going to make it. And now fast forward 4 or 5 years, and here I am on a card with Rampage Jackson. Like, what? It's a dream come true, and I'm on a card with straight killers. Another individual on that card you didn't mention, who I have a lot of respect for as a man, as a father, as everything, is Georgie Carney. Georgie is a murderer, and that dude, I love that dude. I was in World Series with him. I did an autograph signing with him. The guy is so awesome. He actually wrote me when the news broke from Bellator and congratulated me and welcomed me to Bellator in a private message. Like, that was awesome from Georgie, and that comes from somebody I respect in the game. So it's huge. And it's kind of funny to see, everybody compares me to Roy Nelson on my old fat pictures. So it's kind of funny to fast forward from Roy Nelson days, and then all of a sudden see Roy commenting and supporting Aaron. So it's kind of funny, but I'm a fan of all these guys. Scott Coker. I remember I have not talked to him yet. I look forward to that day being able to talk to him. But kind of funny, at Strikeforce Challengers 19, I
Wow.
talked to Scott Coke. Yeah, yeah, right. Date myself in the sport. It was, in Vegas, and I remember talking to Scott, and he goes, "And my record wasn't that good yet. I was just starting my run of my 11 straight wins." And he goes, "Get a few wins and hit us up, and we'll give you a fight in Strikeforce Challengers." Well, Strikeforce folded. Scott disappeared. Scott came back, and now I'm fighting for Scott. I mean, I doubt he even remembers that conversation, but that's something that's been stuck in my head for years. And now here I am with Rampage, Scott, Chael, Rory, like you just name it. I'm with all these kings of MMA basically.
Absolutely. This is a dream come true for you.
Oh, I mean, if you read any of my Instagram posts, you probably might have stalked on there. But I remember I wrote basically F the haters, and for everybody that was ever told in life that they'll never make it, watch me. I'm from a little town, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Yes, it's a real place, Oshkosh by gosh and the bibs. But I mean, nobody's made it from there like this, and I get a lot of support. It's crazy seeing my old high school, classmates write me, and they're like, "Dude, thanks for representing us. Thanks for putting us on the map." Faculty are writing me. So yeah, it's really crazy, especially seeing as though I was voted most likely never to leave Oshkosh. And
Wow.
here I am on the main card of Bellator. Yeah, hi, how you doing?
Wow, that is amazing, man. So what do you feel like you can gain from the if you get a big win over Aaron Pico, what do you feel like you can gain?
You know, so in there lies the issue. So he's 1-1.
Mhm.
Yes, you beat a name, you beat Aaron Pico, but people might go, he beat a 1-1 guy. You're never going to make everybody happy. But at the end of the day, if you look at his, 30 plus amateur boxing fights, all his Golden Glove experience, all of it, he's been in there. He has the experience. So just because it says 1-1 on Sherdog does not mean, in my eyes, that he's 1-1. And also, it doesn't mean that in the critics' eyes. Obviously, CSAC would never have allowed this fight to happen had he not had the accolades. So, I mean, if I get a win over it, when I win, it's gonna be a whole nother. It's gonna just be a propulsion of my career, another propulsion I also received at Madison Square Garden. I just don't know, and all I care about at the end of the day is being able to help veterans. So I know when I win, I'm able to help more veterans. I'm able to give back more, and that's all I care about.
Wow, I love it. So how are you doing that when you win?
I donate my fight purses, so minus costs, whatever I need to take out, I donate the rest to veterans to help them out.
Oh, wow, man. That's awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome. That's brilliant, Shane. Well, my man, it's been a pleasure to talk with you and get to know you a bit. I know you're on the road, so I want to let you stay safe and get back to it, my man. I appreciate you giving us some of your time before the fight.
absolutely.
Perfect, my man. All right, guys, don't miss Shane. He's taking on Aaron Pico Saturday, January 20th at Bellator 192 live on Paramount Network.
It's coming up, you must be personally.